Dear students, about decision supporting system. In last class, we discussed about the decision support systems architecture. Okay, and we also discussed about the approaches of DSS, and we also have seen the different models of DSS, different models of CSS. Okay, so now we are going for third unit. In third unit, we are going for group decision making. Group decision making. So, what is the basic idea of group decision making? See, the subject we are dealing is for about the decision making of an organization. An organization is having many departments, okay, but all the departments are concerned with the middle level, that is the management level. So you are going to be as a management level, you have to take care of all the departments, okay. So what happens for if the a group of members are there in an organization, when we are going to take the decision. Okay, so this topic is explaining about group decision making. That group decision making is, as it explains about, it is the participatory process. It is the participatory process. The participatory means the management team is involving when you are going to take the decision for a certain problem. Okay, so in which multiple individuals acting collectively, is it not? Multiple individuals are acting collectively for the specific purpose. Okay, and we'll analyze the problem and situations. Okay, and we are going to analyze the problems or situations to make a simplified manner. Into make a simplified manner. Okay, so we have to consider and evaluate alternative course of actions. We have to consider and we have to evaluate the alternative courses of action. Always a decision is of alternatives. Okay, a decision is of alternatives. Why it will be alternatives? See, when we are thinking about one side of perspective, it reflects in other side. Okay, so when we are thinking one way, so when we implemented that, so it may be indirectly occurring in another other ways. Okay, so always we to have alternative course of action, and we have to select the specified decision which is going to solve the problem. Okay, the specified we have to select the specified from among the alternatives for a solution or solutions. Okay, so if you think about this, we have the decision support system is having limitations and disadvantages of decision support system. Okay, limitations and disadvantages are nothing but advantages and disadvantages of group decision support system. So what is the limitations of decision support system? Limitation, see, if you are discussing about the decision support system, it is not just now it is existing. It is existing for the past decades. Okay. So decision support systems have been incorporated into business to support human intelligence for years. Since years it is there in the market and we are, but it is simplified. So though it is there in the market for the past years, but the after year by year it is simplifying in a simplified manner. Okay. So however, these systems are not perfect. That's what I told you. Systems are there, and that systems are every now and then is simplifying, is simplifying. So these systems are not perfect, although DSS stop a decision make from promoting a bias. Okay, decision taking of a bias of early stages. They simply aid in decision making by offering useful insights into easily consumable bytes. Okay, so when it is a basic thing is there in the market for the years, and we are going to simplify the decision support systems that are already there in the market, that models, the models are there, so we are going to simplify the model for a specific purpose, for a specific purpose, that is consumable bytes. Okay, consumable bytes. So the idea is to present all tangible information in the forms of graphs. Okay, so when you display the information about the graph, it indicates that how so far it is reflecting about the problem. Okay, how it is going to reflecting the problem. And sometimes we'll display the information about the graphs, the pictures or text. Okay, like that. And depending too much on a decision support system is also not good for the organization. Okay, so depending too much on a decision support system, placing an unusual amount of trust in it is not a healthy sign. Is not a healthy sign. A lot of uncertainties are associated with DSS. Okay, so there are the chances of uncertainty issues may arise when the organization is existing. Okay, so what are the different uncertainty issues that we will see? Difficulty in quantifying all the data. So it is not easy to understand, analyze the data, where the data is reflecting from department to department, from person to person, and where a person is involving for more actions. Okay, it is the difficulty in quantifying all the data and unaware of assumptions. See, you think something and something may happen. Okay, we cannot predict actually when we are going to implement that. So what is going to happen, then only we can say. So we cannot unaware of assumption something. What always you can assume, but that assumption may not right what is thinking according to your way of thinking. Okay, and system design failure. See, when system design failure is explaining about the models. Okay, already existing models are there. That models we are simplifying, and that system may or may not work according to the problem. Okay, so sometimes system design may be failure and difficulty in collecting all the required data. See, to say something it is easy, but to implement certain issues is difficult to keep on the paper, is it not? So that required data is not sufficient. Difficulty in collecting all the required data when an organization is existing. So organization is having a different branches, departments. So for example, production in inventory or in manpower, so many issues. So the problem we are going to identify, we can say something, but keeping on the paper and analysis and understanding is difficult. That is difficulty in collecting all the required data and lack of technology knowledge in users. See, there are many persons are involving in the organization. The you people are managers have to, you are able to think about the best thing about the organization. But the lower people, that the employees may not know what are the things that going to implement for them. Is it not? So you may think you may implement the technologies, okay, but the lower people, uh, the third class or fourth class employees, they don't have the technology. That is lack of technology knowledge in users. Okay, so disadvantages of decision support systems are information overload. Keeping on giving the instructions are like that, okay, the different models for this and that. Okay, so what happens? Information may be overloaded and too much dependence on DSS. See, when an existing the specified problem is facing, according to that, if you concentrate or if you think about that, a simplified solution also you may get. But for every now and then keeping your support, your idea about the DSS is also it leads in other ways. Okay, too much dependencies on DSS is also not favor, and devaluation of subjectivity. Subjectivity is in terms of the problem. For example, a problem occurred in the inventory, so it is limited to the inventory. Okay, is related here subjectivity. So devaluation of subjectivity. A department is having any problem, that problem has to be solved within the persons there. Okay. So devaluation of the subjectivity and overemphasis on decision making. Overemphasis means that we have to think about the problem from all the angles, to solve the problem, to take the decision making. Okay, cost of development. Cost of development is also implies that whenever you are using the DSS is an expensive, is on expensive, because we have to create so much information and we have to keep so much the technology, okay, and software. So this is also a cost manner. Okay, it is also cost of development. Resistance to using decision support system. Okay, so next we are going to discuss about the resistance. What is the resistance levels of the decision support system? It is restricted to some extent, is it not? It is restricted by, what is the reason for the restrictions? It is because of fear of learning, is it not? Just now I told you, every person who is involving in the organization may or may not know about the technology. Okay, so it is because of fear of learning or getting out of comfort zone. See, if you are going on changing the technology for simplify the manners, so what the lower level people will think, on someday their purpose may also may not be there. Means if you are implementing the total number of technology, okay, so their employability also, they may think that they may lose their employability. Okay, fear of implementation of new technology and analyzing business decision making process and analyzing business decision making process. See, the lower level people cannot understand, analyze how the technology is going on at the higher level, at the middle level, at the lower level. Always they will be at the lower level and they know a little bit about the technology at the lower level. Is it not? So they may not know about the middle level and the upper level. Okay. And types of managerial decisions. The What are the different types of managerial decisions? The different types of managerial decisions are strategic decisions, operational decisions, managerial decisions, and nature of problems. Okay, strategic decisions. We have to implement the different strategies for a different problem. Is it not? For example, for technology, we are going to implement the strategy, one type of strategy. For using for the manpower, we are going to use the one type of strategy. Is it not? For getting the raw material, we are going to use the one type of strategy. Okay, so like that, the different strategies are using for different purposes. For different raw materials, there are not only one raw material, but we have to get that different raw materials from different persons. We may have that different strategic application. Okay, operational decisions. Operational, how we are going to work with the different strategies, with the different persons, with the different managements beyond our organization, not within the organization, who are involving into the organization, to our organization. How we are going to apply, how we are going to do the things, that is operational decisions. For example, this supply chain management, or for advertisements, for our inventory, or for the market, for sales, like that. Okay, and nature of the problems. What is the nature of the problems? That is, nature of the problems is includes about recurring, repetitive problems, structured problems, non-structured problems, involvement of people, and decision environment. Okay, nature of problems is explains about recurring, the repeated problems. What are the, in general, what are the every now and then, how the problems are repeating. Okay, and what are the different structure, means well managed problems. So that is how the structured problems are there. So how are means structured problems, in the sense that it is related to basic, how the principles are managed. Okay, non-structured problems is about all of sudden happens. Okay, where certain calamities or certain things happen without the knowledge of the manpower. Okay, so structured means with you can say that with that is with the help of the manpower, the knowledge of the manpower. Okay, non-structured means, for example, there may be the chance of power cutting, or any calamity, or any natural disaster, or like that. Involvement of people, how the people are going to involve for this natural of problems. Okay, and decision environment. When the problem is there, how the people are going to take a important decision for the nature of the problems. Okay, and decision making context, where always the context is explains about it is a part of the organization. Context is the a problem, a part of the above, part of the above. What it means, see, context is nothing but it is a part of the above, means it is a part and connections to the above, to the higher level, to the part. Context is a part and it is connecting to the above level, to the above higher level. So decision making context is explaining about identify the potential for decision support and determine the scope of decision support. Okay, so identify the potential for decision support. What is the potentiality of the decision that we are going to take? If you consider this, how it is going to reflect in our organization, the way how we are going to benefit it, the way how we are going to benefit it. That is, identify the potential for decision support and determine the scope of the decision support is explains about how, what is the a limited scope of that. Okay, and it is at what level that support is required. Okay, scope is at what level the support is required. That is for generic problems, for generic problems. Okay, and but for all ill structured problems, for ill structured problems. Okay, and it can only show all possible alternative courses of actions with their pros and cons, with the pros and cons, and plus or minus positive negative information also will be given. Okay, and leaving the end decision to the user. Okay, finally, if you select this one among the alternative, these are the benefits and these are the disadvantages. Okay, it explains. And if you think about the decision making process, you can think that defining the problem, identifying decision maker, gathering information, evaluating alternatives, and deciding, and implementation follow up. Okay, so the process of decision making is about defining the problem defining, and identify the problem. Okay, identify the decision maker according to the problem. These are all the alternatives. These are all the alternatives. So gathering the information, that is gathering the alternatives and evaluating alternatives and deciding. So among the alternatives, which is the best suitable for that, and implementing that the best suitable, and we have to follow up. We have to follow up. Okay. Good decision making is explains about the characteristics of a good decision and longer shelf life. Longer shelf life. See, always we are going to have the models. What is a model? A model is nothing but it is already existed. A problem is there, and according to the problem, the solution, alternative solutions are also displayed. And above the alternative solutions, the best suited for that is a model. Okay, that we are going to keep in the shelf. That is, we are going to keep in the software. That is it not system, that model. So that system model is always will be there in the system. Okay, is for longer because it is best suited for the that type of problem, because, so that it will be there for remain. That is longer shelf life and doesn't raise a conflict of interest. Okay, doesn't raise a conflict of interest is, it means that is, see, when you are going to use that model, particular model, there may not be any conflicts. Okay, and takes into account internal and external factors. So when you are going to use the model, so the model will also have the information about how it is related to the internal organization, how it is related to the external organization, that is internal and external factors, how the internal and external factors are influencing to the model. Okay, and it also helps decision maker get what they are really seeking. So what they are really seeking also is helping for the decision making. Okay, and redesigning decision making process. So we also have the redesigning decision making process. When we can redesign the decision making process, it is when the change, the nature of the change is changes. Getting my point? When, see, after 5 years or 10 years, the product may changes according to the convenience of the user. Is it not? So the product always will be safe for as long as what you think. Is it not? When the system is changing, the way of changing the product is also changes. So here according to that, we have to redesign the decision making process. We have to redesign the decision making process. So, what happens in redesigning? A decision making process can be re engineered and emphasizing new work strategies, and emphasizing means it is new methods we are going to implement, new strategies we are going to implement, and dropping iterative processes. So we have to simplify the repeated processes. We have to simplify the repeated processes and encouraging full scale recreation. Encouraging full scale means when we are going to re-engineering, we are to going for simplified the things. Okay, what is meant by simplified? It is for particular specified purpose, for particular specified limited purpose. That is full scale recreation and fostering more creativity in decision making rather than automating the whole process. Fostering more creativity. More creativity is nothing but it is just now I said it is used for specified purpose. It is limiting the product usage for a specified person. Okay, simplified to specified manner and rather than automating the whole process. Okay. The next topic we have, that is decision making support. Okay, that master data management supporting technologies. Master data management supporting technologies. So as companies transfer many of their core systems, we feel it's important to speak to our experiences with big master data management technologies. So when an organization is running existing, you have to have the master data management technologies. Master data management technologies that make vast claims, okay, for different usages, vast claims, and have gained invoices behind those claims. Okay, so we have the usage of that, so we have to invoices behind those claims. Being on the services and of these technologies, we quickly gained a perspective from both sides. By using this data management tools, okay, and we are going to gain perspective from both sides, that are the promises made and the realities associated with moving forward without a sound strategy that is aligned with an organization's 5 to 10 years plan. So it is going to two sides, that is for the upgradation of the organization, and it is also going for the reality of the problem, that is the that it is going for both sides it is okay, and for it existing one side, and the quality of the product is on the side, that is promises made by the realities associated with the moving forward without a sound strategy that is aligned with an organizational 5 to 10 years plan. Okay, and most importantly, no strategy or technology will succeed without thoughtful leadership and acceptance of the need to change. Okay, so change is always there. Always change is there, because if there is no change, there is no, you can say, there is no betterment. There is no betterment. Is it not? When the days are changing, change manually it happens. Okay, so that is, so the cost of change is very real in opportunity loss. The cost of change is very real. It is real. Change is real in any environment. When the days are changing, the environment is changing, the people are changing. According to that, the product you have to also change. Okay, but for how long is it acceptable? So that is what, for how long it is going to be acceptable. Is it possible to measure a rolling rate of interest of the processes needing improvement in order to justify the effort? So is it possible the same rate of interest for processes? No, so we have to change. And in order to justify the effort before a transformation begins, and again after changes are in place. See, it means when there is no change, there is no growth of the product. Is it not? There is no change in the product, there is no growth of the product. That is there. Okay, so let's review some of the key features of the uh, technology side of the master data management. Okay, that are linking data, centralized data, localized data, enriched data. See, you are at the management level and you are going to use this data management, master data management, and when you are using the system, that information you are linking the centralized data to the linking system and localized. Okay, the model where you want to whom you want to send, you can send. It is known as the linking from system to system. And centralized, decentralized. Okay, if the information, the data, the model is useful for the purpose, specific purpose, it is known as the centralized data. It is known as the centralized. It is a common place. Every person also can access the data. Is known as the centralized data. Localized, it is like a specified person, a higher level. There are the three levels: higher level, middle level, low level. So that, for example, the higher level will use the say, different methods, different models. So for them, it is localized data. Okay, manpower or financial issues or the revenue, the banking system, everything is considered is looking after the higher level is as localized data. Enriched data, enriched data is nothing but giving more information about the product. Here it is the model. Model again it is about the solution of the problem. Okay, enriched data is nothing but it is giving the specified, meaningful and sufficient information about the data model. Okay, and linking data, just now I told you, no, linking, it is the business information is going from place to place, system to system, like that. Okay, centralized data, it is centralized to the systems which are related to use. Okay, localized, it is for specified person, and enriched, okay, the information which is going to give full information. Okay, and types of master data management. There are two types of mastermind data management, that are mastermind data, MDM, master data management, and MDM, master data management principles. Master data management one thing, and master data management principles is other thing. What is master data management? So master data management is having monetary, carnality, periodically, volatility, and reusability. Monetary, it means it is organizing with the middle level, that is management. You are there and have to access, you have to monitor, that is monetary. Okay, and carnality is nothing but it is from angle to angle, how the information is going, how the things are going. Carnality, periodically we are going to review that periodically, for example 2 days once or weekly once or like that. When you implemented a specified model, okay, and periodically you have to test it, you have to see whether the things are going in a smooth way or not. Volatility means how it is volatile or non-volatile. From one side how it is working, from other side for different angles how it is going to work. Volatility is from this way how it is going to work. From other side how it is going to reflect. Okay, reusability. The model can be reusability or not. This is about the master data management. Okay, and master data management solutions are data integrity, data governance, data accountability, data auditability. Okay, data integrity is nothing but we are going to implement the data here, it is the model. Okay, the model, how we are going to integrating and implementing, collecting and implementing. And data governance is nothing but how with the middle level people, that management level people, you people are going to governance, checking every now and then how. Okay, the how, what is the present position there. Data accountability, see, the model we are using is always accountable, is it not? The pros and cons, how it is happening, is known as the accountability. Okay, so that it will be there for longer shelf. Just now we studied, it is there for longer shelf. And data accountability, that model, the data is accountability always. Okay, so what are the benefits of master data management? The benefits of master data management is accelerated quality, cost and time efficiency, eliminate redundancy, enhanced accuracy, improved decision making. Okay, so first one is accelerated quality. We can expect the quality product for that, and cost and time efficiency. So the always to design the product we have to minimize the cost. Okay, to always to sell the product we have to maximize the cost. Okay, and cost and time, see, within the time period, within the minimum cost, the product has to be manufactured. Product has to be manufactured, and eliminate redundancy. There should not be any repeated information about that. So we have to eliminate the redundancy, enhanced accuracy, but we have to look into towards to the accuracy. We have to looking into the towards to the accuracy. Okay, and improved decision making. So that based on this, we have to go for the improved decision making. Comparison between top 7 master data management tools. What is the comparison between the 7 master data management tools? What are the different 7 master data tools? That are the SAP master data governance. See, when in the existing market, there are the companies like SAP, Oracle, IBM, okay, and Infosys. So many are there. So the companies how they are going to use, and that are the characteristics. Okay, so here the 7 MDM applications are that the SAP Master Data Governance and Oracle MDM and IBM InfoSphere MDM, Informatica, Interworks, Relto, Innovative Systems Incorporation. Okay, so these are the 7 major uh, mastermind data governance are there. Okay, tools that are going to implement and giving the uh, the models. Okay, so this is about the topics that we discussed today. You just study about this, and if you feel any information, any more information you required, you can call me and you can communicate me so that we can discuss more about this, and we'll discuss the next topic in the next class. Thank you.